Morning all. Alright, so normally I would start off with the preview, but there's big news this morning, so I want to do the news video first. I'll do the preview second, and then we'll move on with other videos for the day from there. So Kent Hughes has been hired by the Montreal Canadiens as the new general manager. What's interesting with this is that Matthew Darche, Denny Briere were seen as like the front runners for the job. And Hughes was that third guy, right? So he was the one that kind of came out of nowhere. He had been in the talks, out, and then back into talks for the GM job, and he gets it. So player agent since 2016, 51 years of age, and so we'll see how things go for him in Montreal. The big question mark, of course, is whether or not Jeff Gorton's the real GM, and basically Hughes is being trained up to be. I don't know how that relationship's going to work. He is from Montreal. By all accounts, he is francophone. So that whole part of it has been met. That requirement has been met. And so for Montreal fans, here we go. We'll see how things go under the brand new GM. I'm kind of glad actually that they hired a GM who hasn't been a general manager before. We have a league of 32 teams. There are some good managers. I also think there are probably some very good managers who don't have jobs right now. So, yeah, Ken Hughes hired, and we'll see how things go. So that means that for Anaheim, for Vancouver, I might be forgetting. I think that's it. I think Anaheim and Vancouver are the two open jobs. So we'll see if this affects their hiring process, right? So, yeah, Kent Hughes has been hired. I'd be interested to know what Montreal fans think in the comment section below. Also on the Montreal front, this came out yesterday. Carey Price restarting, rehabbing his knee. So when I hear that, and you look at the age with Price, you look at the amount of injuries he's had over the years, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this just feels like a goaltender who might be headed towards a retirement. Maybe not now, but over the next couple of years. This may very well mean, at some point it happens where a guy just starts breaking down. We saw that with Luongo towards the end of his career, and it kind of feels the same with Price, right? So hopefully the rehab goes well for him, but the fact that he's restarting after talking to doctors, it's less encouraging. So Carey Price is still out. There is no timeline for his return. And that's quite the setback. In a move that I know some people aren't going to like, I know a lot of people are going to like, I think this is just going to be how things work. Testing. The testing of asymptomatic players ends at the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, there will be no more asymptomatic testing of players. And the reason that I'm okay with that is because right now for us locally, testing is nowhere near... it's nowhere near available enough, and honestly, they're telling some people don't worry about getting tested, just stay home kind of thing if you're sick. And so if the general public doesn't have access to all the testing and all of that, then I think it's odd that professional athletes are being tested every day, and that those that aren't showing any kind of symptoms are being tested and held out for 5 days before they come back. So I understand concerns, but I honestly think this is the way things are going to head. The only time that they would be tested is when they're crossing the border. So they're crossing the border, they'll get tested. Other than that, yeah. And it doesn't sound like it's going to be any different for Canadian teams than American teams either. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. And so... yeah, and I think it's the only thing that works. Keep in mind, over 60% of the league has been on the protocol list for the last month and a half. So if over half of the league has been on the protocol list in the last month and a half, probably pretty covered. Anyways, the Premier Hockey Federation, so the Women's Hockey League, doubling their salary cap for next season to $750,000 per team. So that's a healthy raise. Doubling is good. It's seen as an olive branch to the union. The union that's been out for 2 years now, because they want a model for the league model for a league that works financially, and they do not feel that this league had a model that worked. So by doubling the salary cap, it's seen as a way to maybe entice some of them in. Also, they're going to add 2 expansion teams. the Board of Governors is investing $25 million into the league over the next 3 years. And it's on this may very well be a good bet. They're doing it on the bet that interest in women's hockey will go up after the Olympics. There's usually a bit of a bump after the Olympics are done. They want to take advantage of that. Have these women that have been on the American, Canadian teams especially in their league and be able to market them as stars. So it's a starting point. We'll see how things go for them. But over the next 3 years, financially, they're good. That's the kind of stability the union said that they've wanted as well. So we'll see. We'll see whether or not the union agrees to that, and if we do see a lot of the players from the women's union joining, especially with 2 more expansion teams coming in. They haven't announced where those expansion teams are going to be, as far as I can tell, searching around this morning. So yeah, we'll see how things go for them, but I do wish them the best. I have to mention this in a news video. Timo Meier's night last night, right? 5 goals in a game that sets a new record for San Jose. Pretty heady territory for Timo Meier. And it's going to be interesting because for San Jose, they do need to make up their minds on Tomas Hertl. Hertl and Meier play together. And for Hertl, he's a UFA this summer. I really think San Jose wants to hold on to him. I think with the way that this season's gone, might be smart for San Jose to make sure they keep those players together. Hertl's still in his prime. So for Timo Meier, a 5-goal game last night. Congratulations to him on that. So schedule. If you're excited about the upcoming schedule update, apparently it could come as soon as tomorrow. That's what Elliot Friedman's reporting. Fried is usually pretty good when it comes to these types of reports. He's definitely got his insiders in the league. And so, yeah, what's being reported by Wyshynski as well is that basically players are bracing themselves. There's going to be a lot of 3 games and 4 nights. There's going to be a lot of very, very busy nights for the National Hockey League, which means very, very busy nights for yours truly as well, which I'm perfectly fine with. I've been aware over the last month where the schedules had all these games delayed that it's going to be rough. But basically it is going to be a war of attrition. It is going to be interesting to see how all of this goes for the National Hockey League. And we're going to end up seeing injuries again. You may see a guy get hurt. Maybe he'll be out for 3 weeks. But instead of that 3 weeks being, 8 or 9 games, now it's 12, So, injuries are going to be a big deal. And the league in general has to get to that 82-game mark in their eyes. And so that updated condensed schedule is tomorrow. And the one thing that I kind of find myself baffled with is that they did move the Canadian games. They delayed them, but a lot of the restrictions on attendance are still in place. So if they're delaying them until next month, I don't know how many jurisdictions you're going to see change what those guidelines are, but the NHL delayed the game, so what are you going to do? There we are. So it's going to be an interesting time when that schedule gets released, and I will be here to discuss it when it does get released. And we'll talk about which teams are going to have a really, really rough time of it. I'm looking at the Islanders. The Islanders have a lot of games to play between now and the end of April. Although when they do release the new schedule, it is possible the schedule then goes beyond April 29th. That is the possibility as well, that they add a week. That's what's been speculated, that an extra week could be there, which adds another week to the season. Potentially drives things back, although it may mean that they condense the playoff schedule a bit just to make up for that week. But we shall see. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.